name of this lesson is Esau Edom is going into captivity. All right. Esau Edom is definitely going into captivity. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. The Lord is a merciful, he's a just God. Okay. Yahweh is a just God. Okay. And it doesn't make sense for Esau Edom not to go into captivity. So we're just going to jump right into it.
Off your head, monkey! You broke down on the wrong road. Ain't no radicals welcome here.
Is equality something radical that we have to get over?
Looks like you're having a bad night, nigger.
Excuse me?
Beat that fucking nigger! Get him!
Come on, man!
Fuck him up, baby!
Morning, cracker. Fuck. How much you gonna fetch me this fine morning? Like pennies from heaven. Channel up.
Wilson, what you got here?
If you don't sell, you hang.
Gather round. We have our auction to have this buck cracker. This big buck cracker is very healthy, very strong, from Western Europe. I would like to start my bidding at $1,000.
I'll give you $1,500 for him.
Mr. Jackson, you can't keep coming up here trying to buy my product before everybody else.
Really?
Yes.
Well, let me ask him.
Very well.
Now, am I being unfair to y'all?
Nah, we ain't say nothing like that. Nah, we ain't say nothing like that at all.
Uh-huh. Wrap him up.
Not so fast. I'll give you $1,600 for him.
Oh, well. Seems we have ourselves an auction here.
1,700.
1,800.
1,850.
1,900.
3,000.
Ooh-wee. My cracker worth 3,000? 3,000 going once? Mr. Wayne? Going once? 3,000 going twice? This cracker's sold to the Jackson plantation.
Wrap him up. That's mine.
I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakah, Kodash, in double honors to the elder apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who rule well and teach well through the Spirit, and the mighty Shalom to the hopeful elect in the same Spirit, teaching His word and believing His word. Lord willing, you can continue in sound doctrine in the same Spirit to endure and be sincere. Shalom to the Akwatiyam, believers of His faith and His truth. Lord willing, you can continue to pursue your lot, which is being a loving and silent and virtuous wife. And Lord willing, the Most have mercy on the other brothers and sisters that's not in the faith. The title of this lesson is Esau Will Be a Possession. This is a correction video off of misinformation that somebody, has said, a brother. So Lord willing, it's edifying. We just get straight to the point. The first verse is Galatians 6:7. Be not deceived, God is not mocked. For whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. Right? And this goes for Israel and all nations. Whatever you sow is what you're going to reap. The 2/3, they're going to reap judgment. All the other nations are going to reap judgment, let alone they put us in captivity. They're going to reap being devoured, being spoiled. Right? Deuteronomy 30:16. Right? So now let's actually go to Amos, the 9th chapter in verse 12. I'm going to start at verse 11. It says, in that day will I raise up the tabernacle of David that is fallen and close up the breaches thereof, and I will raise up his ruins, and I will build it as in the days of old. Right? Yes, when the Lord rebuilds the tabernacle of David through the Spirit, physically, they're going to get all the attributes in the time of David or Solomon under Yahushai, which is ruling the nations and subduing them. Right? Verse 12, that they may possess the remnant of Edom and of all the heathen which are called by my name, saith Yahweh that doeth this. Let's look up this word possession. So Edom, the so-called white man and woman, Yorash in the Hebrew, to seize, dispossess, take possession, off, inherit, disinherit, occupy, impoverish, be an heir, right? We're going to inherit them, right? We're going to take them as a possession, right? A possession, impoverished, or to come to poverty, be poor, right? To devour, cause to possess or inherit. We're going to possess and inherit them, right? To destroy, bring to ruin, disinherit, right? It's gonna be their hell. When we possess them, it's going to be their hell. Revelations, the 13th chapter, like majority, a lot of Edomites and a lot of the other nations are going to be destroyed. But you have prophecies where the elites are going to hide in bunkers. The Lord is going to preserve them because, you know, those is the first fruits of a nation that's getting all the riches, that's pushing all these laws, that's truly afflicting us. Not these lower Edomites, right? They can, all these nations can put us into captivity after captivity, and we ain't gonna possess them. We ain't gonna put them low. We just gonna destroy them. But that on the line with prophecies. Revelations 13:10, because when you go into Revelations 13:1, it says, and I stood upon the sand of the sea and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy. And this is dealing with ancient Rome. Ancient Rome had 7 heads, which Rome is one of those heads. The 10 horns is a reflection of NATO. In Daniel the 7th chapter, verse 2, and the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as a mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority. And I saw of his heads as it were wounded to death, and his daily wound was healed, and all the world wonder after the beast. Rome was wounded. So you gotta keep reading all the way down till you get to verse 9 and 10. It says, if any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. All nations leading to the Greeks, to the Romans, they led us to captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience in the faith of the saints. We're going to go back to verse 10. Verse 11, and I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and spake as a dragon. He spake like Rome, right? Revelations 12, they give you the red dragon, which was a reflection of Rome. But then it talks about the tail, overcoming the 3 stars, which is Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. Verse 12, and he exerciseth all the power of the first beast before him, and caused the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. It said, it causeth the earth and them that dwell therein. When you go into the Greeks and the Romans, they didn't rule the whole earth. But this beast that's a reflection of the first beast is ruling the whole earth. Revelation, the 17th chapter, verse 1 and 15 says that it sits upon a multitude of water, language, nations, and tongues. Right? Verse 13, it says, he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. Right? This is America. What is the fire that he maketh come out of heaven? The nukes, missiles, right? Revelation 11 go into it. I think Revelations 14 go into it, right? You got World War I and World War II, and then they even say a third war was coming. This last beast, which is Rome 2.0, is going to carry out the same plot as ancient Rome. We seen in verse 12 that it said, to worship the it says, and caused the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast whose deadly wound was healed. And that was in verse 3. This is Rome. So when you go back to 10, this pertains to the whole this pertains to the first beast and the second beast. The beast from the sea and the beast from the earth. Verse 10 again. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. Right? All those nations, even back in the time when Nebuchadnezzar was taking over our land. Any land that helped Nebuchadnezzar, they're counted. Lucky. Moab is counted. Anybody that touched the apple of the Lord's eye, they're going to get it. And they already been marked in the spirit. Let's go to Numbers in the law. Numbers 24, starting at 16. This is Balaam. It says, he have said, which heard the word of God and knew the knowledge of the Most High, which saw the vision of the Almighty falling into a trance, but having his eyes open. I shall see him, but not now. I shall behold him, but not nigh. There shall come a star out of Jacob. When you go to Revelations 12, it even use a allegory or a symbolic stars for Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. But it's saying star in this verse that is pertaining to Yahushua. Revelation, the 22nd chapter, Yahushua said he is the morning star. There shall come a star out of Jacob, Yahushua, and a scepter. Genesis, the 49th chapter, that is an authority. Yahushua is the authority, right? When you go to Revelations 1 and 18, you go look at the word key for that word key, and you go get the coordinates or the interlinear for that word key. It has a metaphor or to denote the New Testament of power or authority in various kinds. Right? So this scepter is Yahushua that has power and authority, shall rise out of Israel and shall smite the corners of Moab and destroy all the children of Sheth. And Edom shall be a possession. This is the same. We're going to devour them. Right? Inherit them. Seir also shall be a possession for his enemies, and Israel shall do valiantly. Now, it's not talking about the place, which the whole earth is ours. It's talking about the people of Seir. The people of Edom are going to be a possession. Right? This is the same word, Yorash. Property. Right? They're going to become property.
Strong's H 3424. Yeresha.
Yashar. A possession or a property. Right? They're going to become a property. We're going to inherit them. Right? Let's go. Because that this lines up. That same possession even goes with Amos 9 and 12. Right? We're going to inherit them. Right? If, we are of the elect. But all Israel is going to be over all nations. This is Isaiah 24, verse 21. It says, and it shall come to pass in that day that Yahweh shall punish the hosts of the high ones that are on high and the kings of the earth upon the earth. Right? The elites, the people of politics or senates, military might. Right? Whoever is the head. Right? Those that probably that are able to be in a round table making decisions, right? That probably are a part of their finance, the military might, the religion might, right? They're going to be punished, man. It says, verse 22, and they shall be gathered together as prisoners are gathered in the pit. It shall be shut up in the prison, and after many days shall they be visited. Right? Let's go to the gospel real quick. Dealing with the poor and the rich man. This is Luke chapter 16 in verse 20 and 24, it says, and there was a certain beggar named Lazarus, which was laid at his gate full of sores, and designed to be fed with the crumbs which fell from the rich man's table. The rich man is synonymous with Esau, right? And symbolic to the whore that's wearing that purple scarlet robe or dress. It says, moreover, the dogs came and licked his sores. And it came to pass that the beggar died and was carried by the angels into Abraham's bosom. And that's synonymous with the kingdom, right? Because all those things that was promised is in the bosom of Abraham. It says, the rich man also died and was buried. And in hell he lift up his eyes, being in torments, seeth Abraham afar off, and Lazarus in his bosom. So Lazarus is in the kingdom, in basically in prosperity. And the torment is the example of Jake being in the lower estate, right? Tormented with work, tormented with affliction, tormented being poor, tormented of somebody telling you what you can do. Oh, you got to pay these taxes, right? We're tormented. It says, and he cried and said, Father Abraham, have mercy on me. Send Lazarus that he may dip the tip of his finger in water and cool my tongue, for I am tormented in this flame. Right? This is not what the church is saying, flame of hell. No, that is the conditions that he in. Right? Why would he want a so-called man that he was calling poor to put his finger in there? Right? Just like how brothers say the apostles is a bum. Right? Well, this is the example of that bum, Lazarus. And Lazarus is going to be in the bosom of Abraham. So what y'all want to be? Y'all want to be the rich man? Well, he's going to be tormented. The 2/3 is going to be destroyed on this side, right? And the wicked of the nations are going to be tormented. They're going to be in their hell. They're going to be in that condition. Going back, go read that verse, Revelations 1:18. Go to the blue letter and look up the word key. Yahushua has the power to put you in hell or put you to death. When Yahushua come, the elect they're going to be in their heavenly estate, right? And the other nations are going to be in their hell estate. They're going to be very low, right? 25, but Abraham says, son, remember that thou in thy lifetime receivest thy good things, and likewise Lazarus evil things. But now he is comfort, and thou art tormented, right? We're comfort when we're in that kingdom, when we're in the bosom of Abraham, man. Right? Esau is going to be tormented. He's going to be very low. And he's going to be tormented mentally too, because he's going to have that especially the elites, they're going to still remember what happened. They was on high. Right? It's going to be even people saying, wasn't that the nation that shook nations? Right? Esau was overpowering nations while they was, in motion. This is Psalms 194, starting at verse 7. Let's start at 6. It says, let the high praises of God be in their mouth, and the two-edged sword in their hand, to execute vengeance upon the heathen and punishment upon the people. Right? If they just going to be destroyed, it's going to be punishments that they're going to get. To bid their kings with chains and their nobles with fetters of iron. They're going to be locked up like Akon and Styles P, but in a worse condition. To execute upon them the judgment written, this honor have all his saints, praise ye Yahweh. Right? This is the Lord's judgment, them being put in chains. Right? Because if they're going to be destroyed in the lake of fire, we don't need to put them in chains. Because that fire going to be so hot, it's going to melt all elements. They're just going to be in their torment, in their servitude, before that time come of them being destroyed. Because we know in Obadiah, it's not going to be no Edomite left. But that's after that little 1,000-year period in the beginning of the reign of Yahushua. Right? Let's get Jeremiah 49 and verse 12. For thus saith Yahweh, behold, they whose judgment was not to drink of the cup have assuredly drunken, and art thou he that shall altogether go unpunished? Thou shalt not go unpunished, for thou shalt surely drink of it. Right? Yes, a lot of people in their nation is going to drink of the destruction and being consumed, but Esau is going to drink of the cup of his kingdom being taken, right? Because how is anybody going to be here, right? If all of them going to be destroyed, how are we going to take the kingdom from them? Right? If somebody got something that you want and you take it from them, they got to be there for you to take it. Or unless you stealing it. No, in Daniel the 7th chapter, it said we're going to take it. While they got the possession, we're going to take it. Esau is the end of the world. Soon as all this is crumbled, Babylon is being bombed, the elites is going in hiding. The Lord is not destroying the elites on his side. They're going to be tormented just like this rich man in the kingdom. Well, ain't we tormented in their kingdom? Right? And to even say that, they already served Yahushai. They didn't serve Yahushai. Yahushai got beat. He got to get his lick back. When we in the street and you pop your friend upside the head, they be like, I got to get my lick back. Yahushua got to get his lick back. And destruction is not just it. Yes, he's going to destroy them because that's what he was doing to Israel and to all the nations, what he was doing to this earth. But he put the Lord's people in captivity, hard captivity. The Lord is going to put them in a hard captivity. Isaiah 11, verse 14. It says, but they shall fly upon the shoulders of the Philistines toward the west. They shall spoil them of the east together. They shall lay their hand upon Edom and Moab, and the children of Ammon shall obey them. Right? We're going to put our hands on all the nations. So if they're all going to be destroyed, what's the point of us putting our hands on them? Like, even though we can, bring them and toss them in the lake of fire, right? But we're going to have our way with them by just like how the Egyptians had us, just like how the Greeks had us, just like how the Romans had them, but we're going to do it in righteousness. They're going to be servants. That's just destroying them. How you going to get the full benefit of wearing them out? Make that make sense. Why would I want to destroy all the Edomites and I didn't get a taste of having an Edomite? That's not enough. You got some that's saying, oh, burning them or put them in slavery, that's not enough. Well, what the Lord say is going to happen, right? We're going to have that. But just to say they just going to be burnt up and they not doing no servitude, oh, that's not enough. Right? And I'm talking about the elites. The lesser Edomites, they didn't even care about their other brothers and sisters. I don't care about them. I care about the elites that was putting these laws, doing crafty counsel. Jeremiah 30:16, therefore all they that devour thee shall be devoured. Esau devoured us, so he's a part of this. And all thy adversaries, Esau is that adversary. Psalms 83, all of them that's on that list that did crafty counsel, guess what? They are going to be devoured. Every one of them shall go into captivity. And they that spoil thee shall be a spoil, and all that prey upon thee will I give for a prey. And through the Spirit, when I was at work hearing this lesson and then hearing that dang video, out of nowhere, it's other videos that I had stashed that because I was doing my reading and watching videos. Multiple brothers was getting into Revelations 13:9 and 10 that it means what it says, and Esau is going to be a possession. I'm like, yo, what is going on? The Spirit, the Lord sealed this instruction for this to come out because we're getting closer, right? Let me get that in Limitations 4. Right? We getting closer to that time. Right? Limitations chapter 4, verse 21. Rejoice and be glad, O daughter of Edom, that dwellest in the land of Uz, their capital, which is really Babylon. It says, the cup also shall pass through unto thee. Thou shalt be drunken and shalt make thyself naked. Right? And he's doing that now. It says, the punishment of thy iniquity is accomplished, O daughter of Zion. He will no more carry thee away into captivity. He will visit thy iniquity, O daughter of Edom. He will discover thy sins. Right? His sins is going to be discovered in the whole earth, let alone he's going to be so afflicted in the kingdom. thinking about all the riches, how he, man, I had them low, and look now they like we looking like superheroes, right? That's gonna hit him even. That's gonna hit Esau worse. Well, you know, if somebody saying you a bum, this and that, and then you pull up in a car, or you got a whole house just because of how you like some of you brothers, how women say, "Oh, you ugly, you a bum," and you pull up in a nice car, you got a whole house, and then she choking on the words, just like the gold digger joint. Now I know some of you women might call you bums, you ugly, such and such and such, and then guess what? You show your hair, you got long ass hair. You got a mom and a dad, or you got your own house, you driving, and then they start hating on you. Guess what? Esau is going to feel so shitty. He's going to feel so shitty after seeing that the Lord blessed y'all, man. Right? This is Baruch, the 4th chapter, starting at verse 24. It says, like as now the neighbors of Zion have seen your captivity, so shall they see shortly your salvation from your power, which shall come upon you with great glory and greatness of the everlasting. All nations going to see it. Even the ones that's going to get burned, they're going to see it for that good glimpse. But it's going to be other ones that's going to see us in our riches, man. Right? Everybody of their nation is not going to be destroyed. The Lord has preserved, especially when you go to Zephaniah 1:6 down, the Lord has a sacrifice in the land of Israel, which is going to be rebuilt, and then the destruction of Babylon, which is going to be a lake of fire, and then other places that's going to get drop bombs where Jake probably hiding, and the other wicked that the Lord is angry with. But the elites are going to be hitting, right? Because really, if they made these missiles and these nukes, the verse, he said, I created the smith and the waster. The Lord is the one that created these bunkers through the spirit on the left-hand side for Esau to hide himself. And these other elites when you go to Psalms 83. So Ishmael, some of them Africans, anybody that's shaking hands or hand in hand with Esau, they're going to be in hiding too. Verse 25, it says, my children, suffer patiently the wrath that has come upon you from God. For thy enemy have persecuted thee, but surely thou shalt see his destruction and shall tread upon his neck. Right? He's, what is it? Jacob is going to be a fire, and Joseph a flame, and Esau for stubble. He's going to be for stubble, man. We use stubble, walk over. We're going to be walking over this man. Right? When you drop down to 30, it says, miserable are they that afflicted thee, and rejoice at thy fall. Right? Yes, it's going to be miserable for these lower ones, but it's going to be even miserable for the elite seeing their kingdom being taken. Right? You know when your kid being bad and you take a cookie from it, they just start crying? They're going to be able to see their kingdom being taken. The Lord going to allow, that's going to be even another torment for him. Right? Because even that rich man, if he became buried, guess what? All his riches is gone. He's not rich no more. Right? It says, for as she rejoiced at thy ruin and was glad of thy fall, so shall she be grieved for her own desolation. And these is the elites that's running this. Right? Hey, some of these small Edomites too, because they love America, but the ones that built it, the ones that took it from the northern kingdom, from Gad and Reuben and them, right? They're going to be in mourning. It says, for I will take away the rejoicing of her great multitude, and her pride shall be turned into mourning. Right? And if a lot of the wicked, or some of the Edomites, many of the Edomites and the other nations be destroyed in Babylon and other places, right? Who else? How somebody gonna mourn? Because some of these individuals, right, is gonna be a good bulk of them are going to mourn because they're going to be preserved. They're going to be able to see us in our glory, right? Because we just seen it with the rich man where he seen Lazarus in the bosom of Abraham. It says, for the fire shall come upon her from the everlasting, long to endure, and she shall be in habit of devils for a great time. And that devil goes into those dragons, those lizards, Komodo dragons, right? This is not the literal devil, right? Babylon is going to be inhabited by I think you see it in, I think it's in Malachi, right? Lizards, Komodo dragons, birds, owls, certain animals that are carnivores, or that they eat flesh, right? It says, O Jerusalem, look about thee towards the east, and behold the joy that comes unto thee from God. Lo, thy sons come, whom thou sent away. They come gathered together from the east to the west by the word of the Holy One, rejoicing in the glory of God. Right? And while they're in hiding, we're going to be with the Lord for a appointed time, and then he's going to bring us back down here, and we're going to go hunting. Right? Jeremiah 16:16. Who we hunting? You think we hunting lower individuals? No, we going to be hunting the elites out of their holes. Right? Lord, when it's edifying, straight to the point. Right? Want to give all praises again to Yahweh Ba'Shem El Shai, Ba'Shem Rakakwadash. Again, Esau will be a possession, our possession. Right? If regardless if you believe it or not, want to give all praises to the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the elder apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who rule well and teach well, and the mighty Shalom to the hopeful elect. In the same spirit and sound doctrine, bringing forth 100% truth. And the Akwath young believers of this faith and this truth, Lord willing that you all continue to endure and be sincere. In the same spirit, being diligent. And Lord willing to most have mercy on the other brothers and sisters that's not in the faith. Shalom. Shalom.